Peace. If the question is, did King James write the Bible? Then the answer is simply, emphatically no. Okay? We all know the death of Christ was about 2,000 years ago. So that's when this so-called religion of Christianity started. The Old Testament was first written in the Hebrew and Aramaic languages about 250 years before Jesus' birthday. Okay? It was translated into Greek. This text was called the Septuagint. All of the New Testament was written in Greek. About 350 years after Jesus' death, Jerome, who was a leader of the early church, the early so-called church, translated the Bible into Latin, the language commonly spoken by many people at that time. So take note to that. Several hundred years later, most people no longer spoke Latin. Alright? But even so, Jerome's translation, called the Latin Vulgate, was the official Bible in Western Europe for more than 1,000 years. So more than 1,000 years, the majority of people did not speak Latin, but the only Bible they had was written in Latin. Okay, these people spoke English, or a different language other than Latin, obviously. So the only way you can get your the only way you can understand what's going on in the Bible or interpretation, you get it from the Catholics. They spoke Latin fluently. So the Pope had the Bible interpretation on lock. Alright? In the late 1300s, John Wycliffe came to believe that it was important for all so-called Christians to read the Bible in their own language. He and his followers were the first to translate the Holy Bible, into English. But because the printing press had not yet been invented, copies were made by hand and few were available. Alright? And as a result of him translating the whole entire Bible to English, the Roman Catholic Church killed him, burned him, and burned all his copies, or tried to burn all his copies. About 140 years later, William Tyndale translated the New Testament from Greek to English. At that time, the printing press was available, so Tyndale Bible was the first English Bible printed on press. Way before King James, hundreds of years before King James even was in existence. Alright, and of course, Tyndale was also murdered, burnt by the Roman Catholic Church because they did not want an English Bible. They want you to come to them for your interpretation and your knowledge of what's going on with Christ. So the English people, you had many other translators. You had the Geneva Bible. You had many other English translated Bibles that predated King James, authorized version. And what happened was they were all being killed, prosecuted, persecuted, burnt, hung, So the country wanted an authorized version from the king. So now, if you have a problem with the translation, we don't have to die for it. You got to take that up with the king. Take that with the army of England. So that's why it was a high demand for an English translated Bible. So King James, it wasn't even his idea. It was just a high demand. And that's why it's called the authorized King James Version. It's the only Bible that was backed by a king, or backed by a country, backed by an army. Other than that, you had individuals translated, and you had individuals dying. So that's the history of how the King James Bible was compiled and why it was compiled. But as you can see, that over 400 years, 5,000 years before King James translated the Bible into English, there was many Bibles already on the scene and basically say word for word what the King James say. Actually, the King James Bible is the last translated English Bible from England. Not even, it's the last. And he didn't translate himself. He didn't speak Latin, dummy. He hired 54 scholars. Only 47 pretty much translate the Bible from Hebrew to English and the Greek into English. Okay, this took a period of many years to compile this Bible, but that's the history of how the Bible was compiled nearly 1,000 years before King James was even thought of, or his authorized version. So that's it. Peace.